Alright guys, so it's like 40 some degrees outside. I know it's been a very long time since I've posted a video on this channel, and I do apologize. It's just, I feel like I don't really have any continuous content or projects going on to make content. I hear a helicopter flying around. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. But I'm really excited about this new toy I have. And as I fumble with, I have a magnetic tray in my pocket. It was in my room, and now I've got to fumble with the keys here. I tell myself I remember which one it is. I believe it's the one on the very. No, it's this one. We can get it right this time on the first try. But here we are in the shop. It is really freaking cold in here. First thing I'm gonna do is come over here. And can I get my arm back there? Open this window. Everything I think is pretty neat in here. I'm going to show you guys what's been going on. So, let's kind of start with a bit of, let's get the magnetic tray out and just maybe stick that, I guess, like right here. This right here is a magnetic strip that put on the toolbox, but I don't really put anything there. You know, there's a couple socket adapters, but anyway, here's a bit of a teaser. Let me turn this around. Oh, got the rest of the stuff in there. There you go. There's a bit of a teaser. The keys back in my pocket. So, yeah, I just feel like I don't really have any continuous projects going on to make content on this channel. And then I have a main channel which revolves around tech, which is one of my big passions. Also, look at this, guys. So I have the Hercules charger right here. Now, I have a couple different tool lines. Not that I'm really into carpentry or mechanicking, or it's certainly not mechanicking. But they're just hanging here. This is a DeWalt. That's a DCB 107. I think that can do 12 and 20 volt battery. Same thing with the Hercules here, 12 or 20 volt. And then they're just ran over here to the power strip, which most of the time I keep that turned off. But right now, the plug for the DeWalt is hanging right here. But mainly what I use the DeWalt for is, that's all my zip ties. Maybe we could do like a toolbox tour. I don't even know. I don't know my drawers. No, it's way down low. Is it way down low? No, it's not. This is like musical chairs. My top drawer is my favorite drawer. What in the world did I do with it? This is like a game at this point. Nope. All kinds of hammers, punches. Man. Oh, right here. Here we go. So I mainly use that DeWalt charger for that little guy. I don't even really use this. It's just a little driver. Just a 12 volt driver. I don't really have a use for it. I guess technically, in the end of that, depending on what I'm working on, which I'll show you guys, I could put where is it? There's some dielectric grease. I could put this in it. It's a, sorry, I keep tapping my camera to show you guys. It's a, it's like a shank on one end, so I could put that in there, and then I could put sockets on the other, 3/8 drive. I could do that and get some use out of it. Oh! Get some use out of it. Put that all back in there. Okay. And then, of course, my Hercules. This is hard one-handed. There we go. It's because of how the drawer is. Also, since spark plugs are cheap, I will talk more about this in just a second. But spark plug there. Now, there's a washer in here. I recently got this spark plug set from Harbor Freight. Now, it said it was new. but it's got most of the common sizes, some metric in there, and I like that it comes on a rail. And the price was right, so, you know, most spark plugs don't have a lot of torque, so it's not like you need anything super, super fancy. I mean, at least that's my opinion. So I picked that up because I had a Tekton, a 5/8 Tekton that came in a set, but I lost it and got pretty annoyed by it. So I was like, I'll just buy a whole new set that's on a rail, and I'll try my best not to lose it. We're getting off track here, showing all these tools. This is an OMT Orion Motor Tech, right? It's a impact lug nut socket set. Now I have a flip set made by Tekton, but the problem is sometimes the like little extension gets stuck in those. So, and I like this set here because they're all color coded and they've got these sleeves on them. So it kind of helps from marring up wheels. They're not thin wall, but still it can help to not mar up the wheels. So color coded, they're all individual, which I like. So what I do, I got off track. I was showing you guys this. This is the Apache 4800. Can I lift this up here? So I think I saw this on YouTube somewhere. You know, YouTube has everything. Okay, I had to put my camera down and absolutely shake this to get it open. Maybe I'll leave that valve open a little bit. It's like a valve right here. Need to let all the pressure out. But anyway, Ultra Torque here. Have some extensions. That's the 8 amp hour. I have a 5 up in the house with the Spotlight. I got the Hercules Spotlight. So I do also have a 20 volt 5 amp hour. Cordless ratchet, 3/8 with the 12 volt 4 amp hour, you know. So it's nice to just have a case for all this instead of having it loosely somewhere. Or some extensions there. But let me show you guys what I do with that lug nut set. So I take this extension, what's that, like a 5, 4, I don't know. So I take that extension and, you know, I'll put it on the impact and then just whatever lug socket I need, use it that way. So it works pretty well. So dedicated lug nut socket set, not very much. Yeah, I really like this. I mean, I could probably fit some other stuff in this, but I just like having all of this in one box because I think usually if I'm using this, right, something's on pretty tight, but then I can use the ratchet to not set and turn it hand, you know, turn everything by hand, so that comes in handy. Let's see if I can get this open a little bit. It's cold. Might have to do this later. Anyway, I'm going to shut this back up. Also, for some of you guys wondering, this is my all-time favorite ratchet, the Capri CP90 3/8 ratchet. So smooth. I mean, it is unreal, okay? And like it's cold outside right now, so you don't have to put your hands on the bare metal, right? The actual ratchet. Comfort grip. And the rest of these are just Tekton, which have served me well. There's a Tekton Long Flex. Well, kind of long. Is that the 12 inch? Here's a shorty Tekton. If I don't want to over tighten something. This is a Sata Tools. Kind of forgot I had this one. Sata Tools 72 tooth. And honestly, for the price, what are these? Like less than 20? Less than 20. Maybe around $15 at times. It's not a bad ratchet at all. You know, I keep it in here. I mean, nobody's ever really asked me to borrow anything, luckily. But if they did, this would be the ratchet I would loan out just in case you don't get it back, you know. And then, of course, the standard Tekton ratchet that I've had forever with the master set I bought. Now, don't get me wrong, this Tekton feels good. And maybe some of you will understand this, but the Tektons just feel like they skip teeth. Whereas the Capri, oh, you can just feel it tooth by tooth. It is unreal. Absolutely love that ratchet. So, that's the short one. Flex head. If you guys want a more in-depth video, I'm definitely not very into mechanicking, but these are tools I've acquired over the years, and the little bit I do really helps a lot. So, let's go up here and take a look at this new toy. Oh, also, I'm just all over the place. I'm sorry, guys. The Hercules charger here is for the batteries. The 20 volt Hercules for the impact, and then the 12 volt for the ratchet. So let's go up here. Okay, I've got my keys, and take a look at this new toy. All right, okay, here's the big reveal, guys. Bam. There it is. So the teaser earlier in the video, try not to cast my shadow, but that was it right there. That is a Badland 2500. I kind of low-key wish I had went with the 35, but I think the 25 will be good enough. I think that's kind of the standard for a four-wheeler, but I've never done a winch before. We had, I guess I should tell you guys about this machine. This is a 2024 Foreman foot shift. I think it's just the base model, no power steering. So I think it's like the FM1 model, if I'm right. I had a 2020, and I sold it in late, I think 2021. Had about 1,300 miles on it, but I bought that one brand new. Bought this one used, but still pretty much new. From like an independent dealer that the guy ran, and I kind of feel like the guy was a little disingenuous, and I'll dig more into the story of why I feel that way in just a second here. But yeah, never done a winch on one of the newer Foremans. Now, we had years ago when I was a kid, we had a 2000 model Foreman back before they had like diff lock. You know, it was all the time four-wheel drive. You know, it had a winch on it, but it had that, I believe, from the factory. So honestly, the hardest part of this was just figuring out how this plate mounted, because if you guys are into the ATV scene, one of the most popular plates is the KFI plate, and that's what I've used to mount this Badland 2500 winch. And so if you're doing this winch, pull the whole bumper off, okay? It's a lot easier. Just pull the bumper off. Take some, there's a bolt on this side of this like plastic pan, belly pan. And there's one on this side. And then take the two out underneath. And that will allow you to pull this down, right? And give you some room. And I think in total the bumper has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 in total. If you include these top two, just take the bumper out, get the plate all mounted, and set it all back in there. Now, you may have trouble getting some of your screws started back in, but just, you know, take your time, you know, take some breaks if you have to. Also, for the Fairlead roller, for the KFI plate, you will need to buy one with 4 7/8 center to center on the mounting holes. Right there, because the one that the Badland comes with will not work on this one, but this one's a lot beefier than the one the Badland came with anyway. It's an extra 20 bucks, but it's a nice Fairlead roller. Now, the other thing is, I'm trying my best not to cast a shadow here for you guys. Now, some of you may not like this because I gave up my front storage area for the control box of the winch. Here's my remote. So I did technically give that up, but I just figured this was a nice spot. And when I had my 2020, I didn't really use this a whole lot anyway, so I figured I would give that up. We put some like foam underneath it, and I'm not really going to be able to show it, but the wires that go back to the battery, we drilled a hole out and used rubber grommets in the front of the storage box. And then the ones to the winch kind of go out the side. We also used a rubber grommet there to try to keep water out. Now, the box itself is sealed too, so it's like doubly, it's extra safe in here. And then we use the black like wire wrap to make things look neat, so you can't really look in the grill and see. I wish this was all off so I could show you guys, but I think I have some pictures I'll try to throw up in this video. to get you guys a better idea, but you'll see the rubber grommets and you'll see the black wire wrap to keep things nice and neat. Let's see if I can get you guys a good view over here of the winch. So my wiring for the winch comes out right there. Okay, you can kind of see the black wire wrap. Just keeps things looking as neat as possible. You will have to kind of whittle out your plastic like bumper cover to let it fit around the winch. Also, don't forget to do your little rubber boots. The Badland winches, they come with these little rubber boots, so don't forget to do those also. Here's this one here, little rubber boots. But yeah, the wiring comes out the side here. Looks nice and neat, so straight to the winch. Really happy with how that turned out. Okay, and then if we go to the other side, we drilled a hole. Now on this side, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see, I'll try to get you the best angle possible. We drilled a hole in this side panel, so the and there's the wire wrap again. It perfectly comes out the side. I zip tied it to this, I think it's like maybe part of the radiator mount, but it's not close to it. So zip tied it to that. Also kind of zip tied it to one of the front rack mounts right there, so it stays in place really well. So I'm not worried about that. And then the wiring just runs back through there, under the seat, and back to the battery. Now, I seen some stuff online where you could buy the Honda like accessory pigtail, and it's really one way or another. But the pigtail basically plugs into this. You can still run it across and plug it back into your 12 volt. And then there's a red wire. You can connect the winch that way. So your winch only works with key on. But some of the videos I have seen on the Badland winch install was on some of the older models. So I think they've updated the winch so it doesn't have all that wiring anymore. The video I watched, the guy had like, he had the black and the red for the battery, black and red for, to the winch, and then I swear he said a blue and a yellow. And the newer Badland winches just don't have that. You have the two that go to your battery, and then the two out to the winch. So, but if you still wanted to do it that way with the accessory pigtail, you could still do that. But this machine, I think as of right now, has around 480 miles. Okay, so when I showed up, the pictures look good. Here's the kind of first red-ish flag. Okay, this is not a factory key. Now I have gone ahead and ordered a new ignition switch. That way it comes with 2 factory keys. I just didn't want to fool around trying to find a key and get a key cut. I want actual factory keys, because this one, let me show you guys, this one doesn't fully cover. We put it in here. See, that one doesn't cover the switch. The factory keys, it's got the rubber top that seats down around this, and keeps dust and stuff out. So I want factory keys, and so I just went ahead and bought a new ignition switch. It won't be hard at all to hook that up. But let me explain a little bit why I feel like the guy was kind of disingenuous. So it started up fine. It had pretty much an empty tank of gas. It had 1 bar. Okay. It started up fine. I listened to it. It drove fine, so I took it. I mean, it was pretty much a done deal anyway. I couldn't really back out of it. But got it home, started looking over everything. Took the airbox lid off, and there was like leaves in it. So that was kind of the first sign it had been sitting. Took the engine cover off, was checking everything over, found like some shells on the, oh my gosh, what's it called? It totally slips my mind. The plastic pan that goes underneath, keeps everything protected. There were some shells in that. I'm not sure from what exactly. There were like leaves and stuff around the gas cap. Okay, and then part of the air intake, I think they call it the upper snorkel intake. Anyway, it's the one that runs from the air box up this way and kind of under this. I could kind of reach up under it and feel like someone had either cut it with pliers because the edges were jagged, or the mouse had like chewed it all up to make its little house, its little nest right in this air intake. But I think it'll be fine. This will mostly stay covered, you know. I'd like to buy one, but when I looked on Partzilla, it said like ships in 200 something days, and I don't want to wait that long. But this will be fine. Air box is cleaned out, nice and clean. Air filter slightly dirty, nothing alarming. When I pulled the, what's it called? I'm pretty sure it's called the spark arrestor on back of the exhaust. Take a wrench and unscrew. It was totally full, and I don't ever remember mine being full, and it had 12 to 1,300 miles on it when I sold it. So I was a little alarmed when I saw that the spark arrestor was full with 453 miles when I bought it. But I emptied it out, and oil is clean, so I'm happy about that. It is at the maximum line, but it's clean oil. I just hope it's the proper oil and, a genuine filter. But what I'm going to do, so someone had not reset the oil life, right? The little wrench that pops up. Someone had not reset it. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the oil right around 600 miles. So I'm on like an even interval. So 600, then 1200, then 1800. That's the oil change interval for these. It's every 600 miles. So, and I've always ran, in my 2020, I ran Rotella T6 5W40. It complies with the, is it pronounced JASO or JASO, MA and MA2? That's what it complies with. So I ran that in my 2020. I'm going to run that in this. But the tires look good. I mean, it's factory tires. They're not that great, but I had pretty good luck out of them on my 2020. Just got to make sure they're properly inflated. But yeah, I just felt like all of that added up to a little bit of disingenuine intent. Not a full tank of gas. The airbox had leaves in it. Like, all of this stuff is simple, right? If you have a mechanic, which he did. I mean, it's an independent little dealership, but I'm sure he has a mechanic. Check the airbox. You could vacuum that stuff out with the shop vac. That's what I did, and wipe it out with some shop towels. Spray you some carb cleaner, wipe it out. The air filter is not bad, but they're kind of cheap, so why not have just thrown a new one on there? I'm at least glad the oil is fresh. But just simple stuff. Maybe the mechanic doesn't work on Hondas very much. But anyway, the spark arrestor being full. And also there were some wires that the mouse had chewed on. I'm not sure what this connector is over here, but it had chewed on one of those, so I taped that up. Also, the positive battery cable was chewed up pretty good, so I taped that up with some red electrical tape. And I don't think it chewed on anything up here that I saw of, even though that's where its little nest was. But definitely evidence of a mouse being in here, and it had set somewhere, maybe under a tree. I don't know, but everything else is in good shape. And luckily it's not like broken. It's just kind of like an odds and ends kind of thing that I can fix myself. So I'm glad about that. I didn't have to spend any money. Only money I've spent is the ignition switch and then the winch install. And I went ahead and bought some parts from Partzilla. I figured since I'm going to go ahead and pay $10 in shipping, I went ahead and bought 3 oil filters, so I'll be good to go there. I can buy my oil locally. Also bought another air filter, so keep an eye on this one. Maybe change it towards the end of summer. Just keep an eye on that. Also bought an O-ring for the oil filter housing in case I ever need it. Never had to change it on my 2020, but I figured it was just good to have, and they're relatively cheap. Also bought some crush washers for the oil drain plug. Kind of another controversial topic. Some people change the washer every single time. I never did. I think I maybe did once on my 2020 with 1,300 miles on it. So, but I think my plan for this one is to change it maybe every other oil change or every third oil change. So I bought 3 crush washers, you know, and when I torque the drain plug, I make sure I torque it to 18 foot-pounds. The oil filter cover, those are, I think, 7. Yeah, those are 7 foot-pounds. So make sure I always torque those. But let's go ahead. It's a little cold out here, not so bad anymore. It's warming up pretty quick. You guys to start up. Wait for that fuel pump to turn on. Now there was like a recall, I think, what was it, 2018 to 2020 Foreman's? Well, a lot of machines for the fuel pumps. Never had any issues out of mine, the 2020, but I hope this one on the 24 is the updated one. But if it ever comes down to it, a fuel pump replacement is not that bad. So if it ever comes to it. And I always run non-ethanol, even though the manual says you can run, you know, unleaded 87. I just always get non-ethanol. But here we go. So I usually let mine kind of idle for a minute or so before I try to move it. Now this one has the same, I guess we would say, glitch that the 520 motor is kind of notorious for, and that is when it's cold, it does not like to shift. And more specifically, into third gear. Third gear, you really have to yank up on it when it's cold. But once it warms up, it shifts as smooth as butter. That's the way my 2020 was. That's the way this one is. I expected it to be that way. So, I mean, this one isn't as clean as a whistle. It's an off-road machine. I don't want it to be, but I maintain my 2020 very well. I'm not like a mud person. It's just a lot of cleanup, but I took good care of my 2020. I'm going to take good care of this one and keep it as clean as I can, but it doesn't have to be pristine, you know. Just keep it out of the weather is a big one. Oil changes, air filter, your diffs, you know. And you can, for me, you can go a little bit longer on the front diff if you don't use four-wheel drive very often, but definitely the rear diff will get changed pretty often. I'll have to look to confirm the interval, but I might just do that every oil change. I think that makes sense. It's just simple. Now when you change the rear diff, and I'm assuming it's probably the same for the front one, they want you to have it at operating temperature so the fluid flows better and it drains out, you know. So that's the only thing I haven't done. Haven't changed the oil. Again, it looked clean, and I'm going to change that at 600 miles. But here we go. I got to switch to put my camera in my left hand. Let's pull it over here into the shade. There we go. Let me back it up just a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to put what gas is in my can in here. I'm going to go for a little bit of a ride today. There you go. There's the mileage. And so, yeah, that's my new toy. Excited to spend spring. It's spring here in Virginia. I think first day of spring is March 20th. That's also my birthday. So gonna enjoy this for the spring and the summer. The next thing I want to do, the very popular grips, the ODI Rogue lock-on grips, I want to do those. I think I want to do them in red to match, you know, the Honda red. The ODI lock-on grips, that's my next thing. They're only $30. At some point, I want to do a light bar. I got one picked out from Harbor Freight. I think I want to do a 32, but I've never really mounted one. So if you guys are more familiar with how to mount light bars, let me know. And then after that, I think pretty much the only thing that will be replaced next is the tires, you know. But absolutely love it. Now, a lot of people talk about valve adjustments. I never did one on my 2020. This one sounds the exact same with this low of miles. So we get kind of down here. To me, that sounds normal. It reminds me of just like exactly how my 2020 sounded. But I mean, maybe eventually I will. I've never done something like that myself, so I'm not sure if I would feel comfortable doing it. Some people say it's easy, but when you can do something, or you've done it many times, of course, you say it's easy. But I have a dealer I could take this to that I trust would do it. So maybe around 1,500 or 2,000 miles, I'll take it in, but it has no problems starting. It has no problems, you know, with power. So I'm not too worried about it right yet. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. If you guys have any more questions about any of the tools in my shop or this Foreman or any tips at all, feel free to let me know in the comments. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you in the next video.